Good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time it is. Good to see you all again. Sorry for the bait and switch about what we're doing, but again, sleepy bitch disease hit me like a truck today, so I was like, you know what? It would probably not be the smartest idea to jump into a brand new online game when I'm effectively still waking up for the third time. Yeah, it was another 2.5 day. Fucking shit. So, you get this instead. A stream I've actually been wanting to do for quite some time. Just haven't really had the wherewithal to do. Again, last time I tried to do this, sleepy bitch disease was a bit worse, but I think I'm in a good enough place that I can possibly, maybe, do the stream and do it competently, but we'll see. So, jumping right into it. We are making a fighting game, because those of you who've paid attention to my Twitter the last month have realized I kind of miss fighting games, but I don't miss playing them so much as I miss consuming them. Because I haven't always liked playing fighters anywhere near as much as sort of digging through their mechanics, seeing how they tick, watching other people mess up the game, or just do whatever wild shit, break a game down, find crazy high-level tactics. I love that sort of thing. I see. Fun. Good luck with that, Zach. So anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and start writing. This is not gonna be a structured stream by any sense of the imagination. Just sort of leaving some brain droppings, so to speak. Let's see, gonna need to make that big. I'm hoping that's nice and readable. This is my first time capturing this, so anyways. Yes, my fighter document. So this ain't gonna be really structured. This is just me sort of futzing around, just talking about what I like about fighters and what my dream fighter would play like, what it would be like, the mechanics in it, whatnot. So of course we're gonna start with the most important part of any fighter. The lore. Because believe it or not, I've had the idea for this particular game idea of mine since I was about 12 or 13 when I was first properly getting into fighters. Besides Mortal Kombat. Yes, I was one of those kids. So, lore. We'll start with I might as well just tell the story. Or at least the backstory. The actual story is gonna have to wait for, just in case. I'll give you some details in a bit, but here's the backstory. In an alternate 1999, a group of college students discovered magic. I don't know if that's a good hook, but we'll start with it. But coincidentally, another group elsewhere also discovered magic, and I got ahead of myself. There was another thing. They decided, the first group decided society wasn't ready, so they studied it in secret. planning to inform the world it exists when the time is right. Or should I say was right? There we go. Because of course, especially in 1999, if we figured out, oh shit, magic exists, we can cast fireballs with our hands, we can make anything appear, we can summon animals. That would kind of turn society upside down, wouldn't it? So, this group had the foresight to do that. Now, this next group, on the other hand, they also discarded magic. But elected to tell the world about it right away. As a result, yep, that's right. The backstory is an apocalypse. We all love a good apocalypse backstory. So if I get rid of this dash so that I think about it. Thousands of years later. Thousands of years later, the world has long since been rebuilt and adapted to magic being a basic fact of life. Now here's where it gets really interesting. So yes, it's a conspiracy story. The original group who discovered magic, the original college students from 1999, now preside over the world as its gods, covertly ruling the world from behind the scenes. Because, of course, magic, they found it first. They had plenty of time for it to, sort of alter their DNA, for it to, make them all powerful and shit. They're now effectively gods. Immortals, stupidly powerful, the whole nine. But, as you can tell from the original backstory, they are not exactly the most arrogant types. They decided, you know what, we're probably better off ruling from the shadows. We saw what happened when people tried to go public with knowledge that people weren't ready for, so let's just be clandestine. Let's be on the down low. We'll see. Whether it works or not, I haven't decided yet. So yeah, this is all the backstory. So now let's jump into the current story. Or at least, what's been written down. Said gods now run. Said gods now run 4 different organizations themed after good, evil, order, and chaos. On the surface, these organizations So yes, these four organizations that are neutral towards each other, or mortal fucking enemies, they all answer to the same group, the gods. They answer to these people. This is the gods' tactic for preventing international conflict. Because again, not much point in wars when you essentially have people fighting for you. If that makes sense. I hope it does. So yeah, that's why this is a fighting game. This is a plot that was, it had some potential for extra mechanics to just seemed like a good set of rules, of ideas to launch a fighter off of. Or at least I think so. So yeah, that's enough of the lore story. I hope we actually talk about some fighting mechanics. How's that? So yes, the mechanics. So, I think I'll start with the signature mechanic. What I want to really set my game apart from everything else. Well, there are actually a couple of things. We'll start with the obvious one. Let's see, how do I spell this again? So yeah, I had a real, I think, cool idea for what to do for a fighter. Once I figure out how to spell it. So, spoilers. It's based on a style of Mexican professional wrestling. Yes, despite the name. I gotta find it. Sorry, it's taking me a second. I decided I have some stuff open and other stuff that is not. Silly me. Okay, here it is. That's it. So the style that I was inspired by is Relevos Australianos. So, what does this style of fighting actually entail, you might be asking? I'll tell you. So, the gimmick here is that... So, I'm sure you all know how regular tag team wrestling works, where one pin is all it takes. One guy gets pinned, the match is over, and one team wins. Which is pretty similar to Tekken Tag Tournament and Tekken Cross Street Fighter. That's how they operate. And then you have the Marvel vs. Capcom Skullgirls style of tag fighter, where every team member needs to be eliminated. So, the thing about this rule set is that it's somewhere in between. So here's the rules. It's a 3-on-3 sort of a rule set, where one fighter on each team is designated the captain. It's the leader. It's the important dude. So the match ends when either the captain is pinned or both non-captain combatants are pinned. So essentially, that's a rule set that I think would make for a really cool fighter. Really interesting strategies there. Especially if you give it a Capcom vs. SNK 2 style, SNK 2 style ratio system, where the captain has certain benefits. They can be more powerful, have access to other moves, that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly, you know that system. So, again, I think it would make it fun. Just replace pin with knocked out, and I think it would work. I think this has potential. Hence why I want to do it. Because the other thing is, this rule set could also potentially apply not just to a tag fighter. If it's just a King of Fighter style, almost turn-based sort of fighter, where the fighters come out one at a time, it can still work the same way. Do you want to send the captain out first and try to have him steamroll the entire team? Do you want to put him at the back? Or do you want to have one non-captain? Or one non-captain come out and then the second fighter is your captain? Again, it's a tactical thing. If you're familiar with Mark of the Wolves in the top position, it's largely the same idea, but on a macro level. Or would you rather be more powerful early on? Do you want a strong start? Do you want a strong middle? Or do you want to save your strength for the end? Although in this system, if it's only 2 knockouts max, no matter what, then it would probably the middle and end would basically merge into the same thing. Because that's another tactic. Just don't bring your captain out at all. Why would you want to do that? Well, here's where my next idea comes in. MOBA-style team buffs. Every character would have passive abilities to help their team, even when they aren't fighting, assuming they haven't been knocked out. It would be split between captain buffs and non-captain buffs. It would be split between... Wait, I got this reversed, silly me. The captain buffs are supposed to be the real crazy abilities that can essentially fundamentally change how the game works for you for that particular match. The non-captain buffs are supposed to be the weaker ones, the ones that just operate more minor stuff. So here's an idea I had. Here's just an example, just a spitball. So, a non-captain buff would be... For a non-captain buff example, decrease super meter usage. So, say you have one character who specializes in meter management. If you have them on the team and they are not the captain, then the rest of their team would be able to fire off supers, EX moves, whatnot, for a cheaper cost. Maybe not 10%, could be 5% off, could be I would have to crunch the numbers, but either way, the idea is there. Now, for the captain buff, here's where we get interesting. So let's say that one character has access to a special move that's basically a literal Guilty Gear Roman cancel, or rapid cancel, or some other way to cancel a move, go back to neutral, no matter what. Ordinarily, it would be exclusive to them, but if they're on a team and they are the captain, then the entire team would get access to that one move. Everybody on the team would get a Roman cancel. See what I'm going for here? And again, what this is meant to do is that the captains should be able to alter how the game plays. And it's also some team synergy sort of ideas here. Some characters would probably really benefit from having a Roman cancel. Others, probably not so much. Like say you have one character who already has next to no recovery on the moves anyways. Wouldn't be much point having a Roman cancel. But then, imagine you have another character who's pretty much a Samurai Showdown character. All normals, all the recovery, but they're really powerful. Imagine them with a Roman cancel. That would be some scary shit. And again, think of the team composition implications. Imagine, again, maybe you don't like playing the character that has the Roman cancel ability. Don't use them. Just put their teammates, their two non-captains out. Have them fight instead. Because again, the way this works, you only get 2 knockouts, period. So, just something to think about. So again, those are the 2 main mechanics. These are basically the 2 esoteric ones. These are the 2 big ideas that I would want for my fighter. Make it a team game, but give you even more, make you think even more about team composition. Because again, maybe one character you don't like playing as, but they have an ability you really want, or else you have characters that you... Shut up, Windows. You have characters that you really, really like, but they have a flaw that can only be covered via one of your teammates' abilities. Just pick them. So let's move on to the I call them extra mechanics, but this could probably stand to be called something better, but it's just what came to mind off the top of my head. So this seems like I'm ripping off another game, specifically the Rumblefish. That also has an offense and defense mechanic. But the thing is, this is an idea I've had since long before I ever heard of the Rumblefish. Because that's just how it is in fighting games. You come up with a good idea and it turns out, oh shit, somebody else did it. Somebody else already did it, and it actually worked out pretty well for them. So, but I think I have something that would set it apart. So, the Rumblefish calls the defense meter a defense meter, but the thing is, it also has access to offensive moves. Obviously, there would be offensive moves with more defensive implications, but they're still offense all the same. The way I'm going to do it, defense means defense. But we'll get to that. Offense meter, standard super bar, used for EX specials, supers, etc. So yeah, standard issue here. Something you effectively need unless you're making a 3D fighter, a super bar. But again, how to set it apart. Starts at 0% as usual. I don't know whether it would carry over between rounds yet. I would have to actually design a game first, but we'll have to think of the implications. One moment, please. Alright, back, sorry. Had to grab a throat drop. Ryukaku-san. These things are a godsend. Cheaper than my throat sprays, and they work even better. If I use these things right, I should be able to, go for even longer. So anyways, defense meter. So, here's another way that I want to differentiate myself. So, what I'm calling the defense meter on this document, I probably come up with a more interesting term later, but the thing is, so it sort of functions like any other Arxis game, but also like a standard guard bar in other games, where it starts at full and drains as you block. So, the reason I want it to be more Arxis style is because guard breaks are fine, but not all the time. You need a little more variety. I prefer the way Guilty Gear used to do it, where simply He can block for as long as he wants, but if you block for too long, bad things happen. I think that's a brilliant system, actually. Because sure, guard breaks work as a punishment, but it can, it has other implications. So, for instance, but my twist on it is that you can crush guard, but only with specific attacks, and not even, like, attacks specifically designed to crush guards. Like, I'm not really planning on having a focus attack or anything like that in the game. Like, if your guard bar is low enough, I think you should be able to just break their guard with a heavy attack. If that makes sense. At least I hope it does. As for more specific debuffs, if you don't get guard broken but do have an empty defense meter, I'm thinking, so the thing is, the type of fighter I'm going for, I don't think is going to be very heavy on counter hits, or isn't going to have very long combos, which is really a good segue into a combat system. So before I get into this, allow me to show you a tweet from the other day that essentially summarized everything I want to do in a fighter. Essentially, sometimes you just have an idea in your head and you're like, it's good, but it needs something else. This tweet thread that I'm about to show you essentially gave me the idea. That's it. That's what I want to do. Holy shit. This person's a genius. Observe. Here you go. A tweet by Dot Level. Let me shout her out. So yes, while she mainly plays platformers and other kinds of retro games, she also has a very big fighting game streak. She loves fighting games as well, but she has a preference for certain kinds of fighting games. Observe. Quote her. I started making a new fighting game with no super flashes, no cinematic supers, tons of moves that are frame advantageous on block, short combos, and really high pushback. Fighting games where there's something like crazy big like a rollback, but developers go, oh, this was a hit because every move is -1 to -4 and leads you point blank. If you were to bring out a new game that makes it like Vampire Savior, people would be into it. She raises a lot of good points here, because that was something, like, even years ago, I realized, hey, that'd be a smart idea to, see, there I am. Taking notes. I wasn't literally doing it, but now I am. Because that's an easy way to stand out sometimes. If things are very modernized, very, trend-heavy, the easiest way to do that is to simply go back. Like, somewhere else in this thread. Try to find it. Not them. Here it is. Never mind. Forget it. I think that thread, you got the point of it. Yes. I was thinking, I should make a game play like a 90s arcade game. That would be an easy way to stand out. And there you go. Granted, I would try not to make it as jank as they can be, but if I'm just one dude balancing a game by myself, that's pretty much inevitable. Like, I've tried to study. I've played a lot of fighters, I've studied a lot of mechanics, but I am one man, I am very fallible. And I don't even play fighting games that well myself, so there's only so much I can really do. It's, I can try my best. So anyways, combat system. So, short combos, 5 to 10 hits before supers or cancels. That's the big thing I want to do. There's nothing wrong with a very long combo, but that's not my preference. Plus, long combos are essentially the order of the day in fighters at the moment. This would be an easy way to stand out. And it would be a very easy way to make the game more beginner-friendly, because beginners see bread and butter combos that require 30 or 40 hits, and they're like, fuck that. That's why auto combos are a big thing, big modern trend. But if I do this, there would be no real need for that. Short combos, I make pushback on block attacks. That's what I mean, yeah. High damage. Bread and butters do 30 to 45%. Because again, if it's a team game, then what's it matter if your teammate dies? I want something rapid-paced. I want something fast and fluid. Do you only want every match to last 6 minutes? I don't think so. Just give me a second, I'm cooking. So what am I going to do differently myself? So, the defensive mechanics would have a rock, paper, scissors dynamic between them. So say... And these would all be governed by the defense meter, by the way. Besides the throw, really. So essentially, if you burst, you throw invulnerable, but you beat an alpha counter. If you alpha counter, you beat a throw, but you lose to a burst. And then... alpha counters are throw invulnerable, but they can get the burst. So on. Then again, I also made this not realizing that... And then again, I don't think... when I realized I wanted the shorter combo direction, I was thinking, do I still want bursts? That's something that would require testing. We'd have to see if it actually works or not. But again, I think it has some potential. So let's move on to the button scheme. So I'm not sure exactly how many buttons I want, but I know either way. So either way, I want normal attacks mixed with unique attacks. So for instance, standard punches and kicks, and then more esoteric, character-specific stuff. Like the BlazBlue drive button or that sort of idea. Injustice traits, that sort of thing. So this was the main scheme I was thinking of. If I want to form up the scheme. Punch, kick, unique, heavy. So pretty much the Guilty Gear setup, except both slashes are condensed into one button. But if I want to be unique about it, so again, these are the two schemes I have in mind. Either 4 buttons, and then 6 buttons where you get punches, kicks, and magic. But they have separate... They have separate strengths, each themselves. Again, this would require testing. I'm not sure which one would be a better scheme. So you'll have to forgive me if this is a bit disjointed. I'm sure you were expecting something a little more organized for something called a design document, but this is what happens when it's just one dude who really likes a genre and wants to make a game in it. It's not quite that simple. So, what next? What next? How about some character ideas? Does that sound fun? So we'll start with my idea for who the protagonist would be, fighter-wise. Design-wise, we're not going to get into that. This is strictly mechanical. So this was my big idea for a charge character. Your standard guile function. But also hybridizing them with a Mortal Kombat style just back forward special move influence. Because I don't personally play charge characters. I'm not the best at charging moves. I can't keep charge for shit. If I'm in a charge partition, forget it. I'm too small brain for that shit. So when I thought of that, I was like, how can I make a charge character easier to use? And this was my idea. Holding back and forward, that made me realize, oh shit, if I take out the charges, it's literally just Mortal Kombat special moves. So that was the idea I had. But of course, if you can do the same move with easier inputs, why the hell wouldn't you do it that way? All the time, and not even bother with the charges. So that was my idea for balancing it. Sure, you can get it out faster, get the input easier, but it has disadvantages. Like for instance, the Sonic Boom would be fast traveling, fast startup, but would also recover slowly and be a little weaker. But if you charge it, then you get a more powerful projectile that recovers shorter. Makes sense, right? And again, this is my idea for the protagonist. So let me think. I had a bunch of ideas for fighters. But that was the most unique one. Maybe I'll come back to the rest of them later. Here, how about we backtrack to the button scheme? Show the controls. Because I had something unique in mind for this control scheme, especially if I use the 4-button version. And again, this is where the defensive rock, paper, scissors idea comes in. So, if you hit punch and heavy or both punches, then you would get the throw. If you pushed kick and heavy or both kicks, you would get a burst. Or no, the alpha counter, that's right. And here's me being disjointed again. Per character power-up state, like Dark Force, Overdrive, that sort of thing. Which would probably be merged with the burst idea, but again, that would require experimentation. We'll see if it works that way. Just because I personally just like those mechanics and I want them in my game. So if we apply it to the charge character, then say, maybe they would get extra specials, that would get access to another mechanic, that sort of thing. What else? Actually, I might have to dig through my computer real quick just to see if I have the old document. A real old one. Wow, I haven't touched this in quite some time. Sorry, I'm just still looking for my files. Where is it? in the meantime, how about I put down another fighter idea? Who in here prefers 3D fighters? Who likes 3D fighters? Because again, we all, every now and again, like to mess with a 3D fighter. And, yeah, Soul Calibur. I might have room for that there, but the idea I have here is more in the vein of Virtua Fighter Tekken. Yeah, obvious reason, of course, but again, I think applying 3D mindsets to a 2D fighter would be an interesting thing to do. Like, again, going back to Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That game had a lot of flaws, but the one thing everybody praised it for was that the Tekken characters made the transition very well to a 2D game. The chains all felt right. They felt like the original 3D characters. Capcom made a lot of mistakes with developing that game, but staying faithful to the character's essence, even in a 2D, even getting rid of a Z-axis, was not one of them. So, that was my idea. Just, maybe I can apply that myself. Maybe I can have one character who's literally just a 3D fighter character. But of course, Guilty Gear already did that. Around the Fall, that's her entire gimmick. But, nothing new under the sun. I can put my own spin on it. Because nobody's gonna call her a 3D-style character. She's still a distinctly Guilty Gear-style character. Whereas, what I want to do, if this works out, this character would literally be a 3D character transplanted into a And then there's another idea I want. I want a Samurai Showdown style character. One that's all footsies all the time, doesn't really do combos. But doesn't need to because their normal attacks are just that goddamn powerful. Because again, if you look at Capcom versus SNK 2, Haomaru, he made the transition really well. He's top tier in that game. Despite having a completely different game plan from the rest of the cast. To say nothing of Capcom vs. SNK 1, where Nakamura was the best character in the goddamn game. That game plan can work in a more combo-oriented fighter. It can set the character apart. It can just make them that much more unique. Give the players more options. All that sort of thing. So, this would be my idea for like an RPG character sort of idea, an upgrade character. They start off sort of weak, but if you invest in them, you give them more meter, then they become more powerful. Like Frank West in Ultimate Marvel 3. Which makes me think maybe I don't need to have them spend meter, maybe they can just have certain other conditions, because all you had to do with him was just do long combos and then just do the camera special, and boom, there you go, you leveled up. It's an idea I've wanted. It's something I wanted for my own game. And it's something I think could work should I have, if I think about it deep enough and implement it correctly. And then the puppet character. One of two. So I want two puppet characters. So, JoJo Heritage for the Future, Persona 4 Arena. They both have lords of the same ideas, where essentially every character was a puppet character, but there were different ways of implementing them. Both mechanically, both games, like, I remember when Persona 4 Arena was first announced, and people were like, this is literally just Heritage for the Future. And the game came out and like, oh no, this is its own thing, silly us. So effectively, my idea would be like, so some JoJo characters are kind of close to Persona 4 Arena. That's called the active stand system, where the stand essentially functions as an extra attack. That's not how it works at all, silly me. So active stands, you have to summon them yourself, and then they change your move properties. Passive stands would be, passive stands. So the way they operated was exactly as it says. Whatever. If you've played either game, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. So effectively, I would want one puppet fighter that you just summon the extra character and they fight for you, and then the other one would be essentially attacking alongside the other character. Like one of them would be Zato from Guilty Gear, only without having to use negative edging for all their attacks. I'm really hoping this makes sense. It does on my head. Alright, looking back. So yeah, this was just me wanting to wholesale rip off a character from another game. For the sole reason that Ghost Rider was the entire reason I bought Ultimate Marvel 3, and the fact that he sucks is the entire reason I quit it. They did that dude dirty in that game. He is pretty much useless on its own. And even then, why would you want to use him if you want his own? Why not just play more again? So essentially, I want to redeem that sort of character idea. Whip, anti-air special, that sort of thing. Literally just want to transplant this character and put him in my game. Like, not literally, of course. I'm pretty sure Marvel wouldn't give me the rights to him, but the same idea. I just want to do something similar, if that makes sense. And if I do a fan game as a test run sort of idea, then I probably could literally use him. Odds are somebody's made him in sprite form. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. What else? Oh yeah, a big character idea. look for the video. So, who in here watches Leon Massey? Who here watches Leon Massey? I do every now and again. He has some takes that I'm not very fond of, but his latest video on Rising Thunder, that was an objective banger. Because it gave me an idea, an absolutely brilliant idea, for a new fighting game character. If I can find it again.
You wouldn't have...
Whoops. Didn't want to actually play the video. This ain't a React stream. Okay, so Rising Thunder, I'm trying to remember what the name of the character was. Because this is a unique situation he talked about in the video. Yeah, I might as well just link it. So there's the video I'm about to discuss. So, Aegis. Aegis is the character I'm about to talk about. So if you want a detailed breakdown, watch the video, but a broad strokes of it is that, you know how in most fighting games the slow defensive characters are just that? Slow, powerful. Obviously, not a very popular kind of character, but it has its fans. So what Rising Thunder was planning on doing was completely flipping it on its head. So the thing about Aegis is that she has next to no mobility. She's very slow, but she has hella frame advantage on her side. Her attacks are all fast as hell. She has super armor. So, on paper she's slow, but if she gets going, she can absolutely bully the opposing character. Which I think is a brilliant new interpretation of how to do a tank sort of character. Ergo, in my game, there's going to be a character like that. But again, I could go full super best friends and just plant the character myself, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know who owns the rights to that game, and I'm not really willing to poke the tiger, so to speak. Not a risk I'm willing to take. But again, I think it's an interesting thing to do. Yeah, obviously, there's going to be some more basic characters, but these are all the ones that I wanted to discuss at the immediate moment. The ones that are... it's going to sound funny considering these last two, but the more unique characters, so to speak. Like, obviously, I'd have a grappler, I'd have a Shoto, multiple of them, as a matter of fact, but this is, again, these are the more interesting ideas I wanted to lay out on the table. Because again, I'm trying to sell you on the game, metaphorically. I'm trying to make it look interesting. Just reformatting this so it's a little more, sort of driving me crazy how inconsistent it was. Yes, priorities, I know. Still. Actually, no. I want to talk about meter usage some more, but let's really actually go back. Then again, that's sort of redundant. So yeah, the power-up would be the offense meter. Now, I'm not sure yet whether it's going to operate like the tension meter or Vampire Saviors, Marvel vs. Capcom's multiple stocks. That will require design experimentation. I have to think about that more, but either way, power-up would probably take a full bar of meter either way. So actually, that's really everything I wanted to write down. Everything I wanted to actually show off. So, I guess that's my document. So I think now that I think about it, yeah, I can't really think of anything else. So, I think I'll just call it here. Maybe I'll just open the floor to questions. I'll open the floor to questions. Does anybody have any questions as to what you've seen so far? So let's review first. So yeah, lore. A bunch of college kids discovered magic. Tried to keep it secret, but then some other group also discovered magic, but told the world, and everything got fucked up. So now, thousands of years later, they've picked up the pieces. They are gods. And they effectively hire a bunch of people, So, gonna be level with you, I actually initially wrote this as a political thriller. Sort of a, global conflict sort of idea. Conspiracy theories, that sort of idea. That said, I decided to downplay that, so I wanted to make it more like a mythology. But of course, elements of the conspiracy idea are still there in the story. Just because, again, it's a low-hanging fruit. It's a good idea for a story, for a fighting game. Which brings me to the fact that I forgot to mention, the alignment system. I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this. So yes, if you recall back in the plot, there were 4 companies, Good, Evil, Order, Chaos. So what I want to do is, I want a sort of a groove. So, Capcom vs. SNK2 groove, Street Fighter Alpha 3 isms, Melty Blood moves. That sort of idea. So depending on what alignment you choose, you get different attacks. You get different mechanics. I don't know what exactly, but... So for instance, my idea is... Said West. Yes, I did. So yes, there you go. Every character would be able to join a different company, so to speak. And the companies all have different focuses. So, for instance, Good would focus completely on meter. Chaos, who even knows what the hell happens. Order would be based more on defense, and then it would be offense, and then dirty tactics. So, maybe if your character joins the evil company, then they have a unique attack to that alignment, where maybe it's a low blow, or else some other sort of a dirty tactic, like dirt in the eyes, or some sort of cheating, that sort of idea. At least I think it makes sense. Okay, for real this time, that's all I wanted to talk about. So, again, questions? Anybody got something to ask? Anybody, Anyone? Suppose not. Character design. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. So this hybrid charge character, that was actually my idea for the protagonist, or should I say, the heroine. So effectively, think of equestrian saber, like saber in a horse riding outfit. That's effectively who I want to be the protagonist. Because again, you know I love my night girls, you know I love my rich women. That sort of thing. Which actually brings me to another point of the lore that I forgot to mention. So obviously, the countries as we know them don't exist in this world. It's been thousands of years since they all fell, so it's been far, far too goddamn long. I don't know about backhand. She would be a sword fighter is the thing. I forgot to mention that. So, she was actually partially based on Kai, so she'd be the sword fighter. But yeah, white woman normals. So, as I was about to say, so another part of the lore, so essentially the countries would be a little simplified. Effectively continents, so there's one country that would essentially be a mashup of the United States and Japan, Canada, Mexico. And there are two Englands. There's essentially one that's supposed to be a more nuanced, realistic version of England, and then another that's literally the stereotypical Hollywood movie villain, England. Like, back when they were essentially trying to rule the world. That's what I mean. Just because I think. Well, partially. So, my idea is it would essentially replace California. So, literally Ace Attorney now that you mention it. Silly me. But yeah, that idea. So, California doesn't exist and has been replaced with Japan. That's the idea there. And then, the only real wacky idea I have, because obviously every country would be based on other things, but the only wacky idea I have is that Africa and South America would be physically switched on Earth. So, imagine if Africa was where South America was, and South America is where Africa is. It'd be that sort of idea. I'll have to actually map it out, but if you recall from last year when I did my map making stream, there are ways to do that. So, yeah, that's the world it takes place in. Magic. Mythologies. Back to character design. So, the other thing, you remember Fight of Gods? You remember that game? That silly little game that caused a silly little international incident? Again, these were ideas I've had since before that game was a thing. So my idea was, going back to how I wanted to base it on mythology, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I should make my characters very, very loosely based on mythological figures. So for instance, I have one character who's based on Huehuecoyotl from Aztec mythology. I have another one who's based on Vainamoinen, a Finnish folk hero. And I might have another character. For all you know, maybe I have a character who would be Jesus. Only I'd be a little more subtle about it, of course. Maybe hybridize him with other biblical figures. That sort of idea. Now again, that game's mistake was that it literally used the religious figures, which is problematic. People don't tend to like it when you mash up their beloved religious figures. So that's my solution. Yeah, here's an idea. Maybe you should, don't use the literal figures. Just use the figures as a basis, and then do your own thing with them. Mash them up with other religious figures. That's what I think. Because if you do it that way, you can also merge them with other mythological figures. So, say you have somebody based on Zeus from Greek myth. You can do that. But you can also give them elements of his Roman counterpart, Jupiter. Or maybe even someone else from the Greek pantheon. Like, maybe mash them up with Pluto/Hades. Just spitballing here. Like the 3D fighter style character. My idea for him was to base him on Izanagi from Japanese mythology. The man who lost his wife in hell. Or the Japanese version of hell. That sort of idea. In fact, I'm pretty sure in early drafts I literally just named him Izanagi. I don't think I'm going to be quite that on the nose with him. Despite the fact that that actually is a valid name in Japanese. I know. I looked it up. Yeah, everybody who's played Persona 4 knows that guy. But again, I don't want to literally use the same figure. I'm going to use him as a basis for an original character. You know, OC, Donut Steel, that sort of thing. Put some actual goddamn thought into the mechanics. Designs. Yes, exactly. I played it too. Technically. I watched the anime first, but you didn't hear that from me. Anyways, so, what else? But yeah, besides mashing them up with mythological figures, there's also pop cultural characters, because again, the main heroine, I want to be effectively a riff on Saber. I don't know what... So the funny thing is, I was actually going to go full Fate with it. I was going to make her the one who was based on Vainamoinen, but I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather just find another mythological figure. I'm sure there's somebody else in Nordic myth who would be fitting for that. Especially considering I wanted to have her raised in evil Britain on top of that. Exactly, it is a good archetype. That's why a lot of games have them. Which also brings me to another thing I want. It's really not a smart thing to discuss long-term plans when you're just starting work on the first game, but if it takes off. My idea was that I'd also do a JoJo story style thing, where every sequel focuses on a different character. So this character would only be the protagonist of the first game. I would just move on. Her story's finished, we'll move on to somebody else. That sort of idea. But again, that's silly long-term. I should not assume that this game will ever get a sequel. Especially considering I don't even know if I'll even get to make it at this point. But yeah, long-term things. Because of course, the smart thing to do is to act. Yeah, exactly. That's how they stay fresh. But whatever the case. Shit, I just realized King of Fighters basically does that too. In a more long-form sort of way. Like they have sagas with different protagonists. It'd be that idea too. Then again, knowing Japan, they probably got that idea from JoJo anyway, so... there. Then again, JoJo presumably got that idea from someplace else. Kamen Rider from the 70s, maybe that's what inspired Araki. Who's to say? It's just a theory. A stupid theory. Alright, so, any other questions? Because that's pretty much all I got to say about the story. Again, off topic, but I really love, I owe whoever turned me on to Ryukago's on 4 drops my fucking life. Such fucking panacea. If I'm smart about using this, I can probably last hours streaming with this. Because, again, I'm not exactly, I don't have the best endurance in the world. I'm pretty sure you all know this by now. Hence why, if there are no more questions, I'm probably just gonna call it here, but... even so... So, yeah. That'll do it. So, let's go off topic. Let's, take a break from fighters for a moment. To mention, I should probably also mention that, I don't know if you guys noticed anything different about my capturing. If you didn't, that's fine. If you did, there's a reason for that. I'm using V-Bridger again, because they just got a patch. They just dropped a patch today. Or was it yesterday? Either way. They have media pipe tracking now, which means I can actually fucking use it again. Great. Because I'm sure you recall back, I had to use an Android phone to use it. But then, the, tracking library that the app was using, went into end of service, so I was completely unable to, use it once that service went down. Which meant I couldn't use V-Bridger anymore, which meant I was stuck on a piece of shit webcam again. But V-Bridger to essentially come back into my life. And this time, they have alright settings right out of the box. I didn't have to enter their Discord. Joy. So at any rate, yeah, I guess that's the last thing I really have to say. Besides that, there will most likely be only one more stream this year after this. Either Friday or Saturday, I plan on doing karaoke. We'll, see what I do. Then, I think maybe in the upcoming year, I'll, finally do the Grand Blue stream. I can use, some more practice anyways. Plus again, I'm not sure if I'm even gonna plunk down the game or stick with the free version. I'll have to wait until, either Katarina or Siegfried go free. Those are the two characters I'm most interested in. I already bought one game, just because one character appealed to me. Guess which one? Guess which character? And that didn't end up working out too well. Didn't end up liking the game too much. So yeah, need to think of more. Need to be smart about it. So at any rate, I think that'll actually factually do it for the day. So let's see who's on. Let's see, do I want to clout chase or do I want to stick in my own league? Let's see who's on and find out. Oh, Melinda's on. Well, that's what I'm doing. Let's go say hello to my lovely sister, Melinda Esperanza. So yes, see you on the weekend for karaoke. Just, take it easy till then. Thank you for hanging out, letting me spitball my, silly ideas for, fighters. I'll, see you over the weekend, and if I don't see you then I'll see you in 2024. See you later.